And welcome to a Murphy's Law edition of the Jackson Christian Eagles Show. And I say that lovingly as we are 3-0 right now. And I tell you what, slobber knocker, white knuckler, coaching staff did good. The players did good. Everybody responded. And at the end of the night, you fans were able to watch a happy ending as far as a win in the column over a very good team who had just experienced the same type game last week. With me is Coach Darby Palmer and also Brian Buller. Coaches, I'll just open it up to both of y'all. That was one of those that you can see, and I didn't cut my nails. I bit them off. It was a white knuckler or a nail biter, but our kids did what they had to do when they had to do it, which is a discipline definition.
Absolutely, and you always like going through these games. Well, you never really like going through them, but you like seeing teams have to battle through adversity early on in the season just to see what they're made of. And we challenged them at halftime, and they responded. And they were able to come out and make plays in the second half and just do what we talk about each and every day.
Absolutely. Brian, I got to ask you this. There was something different, and I've got to review the film. Normally I've already done it, but I did take Labor Day off. Everything that could go wrong went wrong in the first half, including the towel rule was even evoked on us. And but your lineman came out with this spirit and sense of esprit de corps. What in the world happened at halftime?
Well, the good thing is about having two seniors up front and you got a junior middle linebacker. We were able to go back to the locker room and talk about what they were doing to us. And that's big when those guys – we can watch it and see, but sometimes the technique things that they can tell us. And so we made a little bit of an adjustment, and really it was made by them. They said, Coach, if we do – this is what they're doing to us. This is their blocking scheme. If we change this and kind of play this technique, then we have a chance to shut it down. And so we have trust in those guys. They're smart football players, and we made the adjustment. And then I just listened to them talk at halftime after a spirited conversation there. But I was listening to Kai talk to Gavin, Said, and Caleb about making this adjustment. And he said, guys, if y'all will occupy blocks, I will make every tackle. And Kyle White went out there and just made about every tackle in the second half. So we could sit here and take credit, but those guys are tremendous football players, instinctual, but they also realize what teams are trying to do to them. And if you asked Said a couple of years ago what was happening, he was just struggling to figure out what scheme that anybody was running. It's not a knock to him. It's just experience. And so having those guys come out and be able to make those adjustments for us was huge in the second half. And, you take care of the football and good things happen.
Well, we didn't do a tremendous amount of things wrong. It's just when it happens, and sometimes that's the reason I mentioned Murphy's Law about things going wrong. It was the timing. We had actually played great defense and stopped them. And probably one of the surest-handed people in the world. I'm not talking about just at Jackson Christian. We had a little, and I think it actually hit his shoulder pads. I've returned punch. That causes a little bit of problem if it hits the tail end of your shoulder pads. We had a fumble on an exchange that I would have not believed it happened, but those things do happen. What's so great is our kids recovered and played football. Actually, it really didn't. I didn't think it bothered them that much in the first half. They played through it and came out firing up in the second half.
Absolutely, and played through it together, and they stuck together, and they stuck to the mission on what we have and the mission at hand. And you block out what's going on outside and maybe the plays that were made, but you just focus on, hey, we're going to get this stop, and then we're going to go score, and just stack plays on plays on plays, and we were able to do that.
Hudson at guard, left guard's getting better every game. Ty told me something after the game. He said, Coach, and thank him for calling me Coach because I'm retired. He said, Coach, we weren't going to let it happen. Man, y'all seen the fire. It was still there after the game in his eyes.
And that's one of the reasons why Ty Smith was voted a captain, that fire and how he leads those guys up front and how determined they are.
And the running game looked good. It's looked good before, but really and truly we've taken whatever the other team has given us. And tonight, or actually Friday night, they gave us the run a little more. I think that good pass. They had a great 4 down lineman. They'd send their backers and stuff. They set the corner good a couple of times. Second half, we executed better. We won the second half, shut them out in the second half.
That's right. And, it's a testament to our guys up front, the offensive line, how they're starting to gel together and work together, but also breaking in 2 new backs that had limited carries coming into the season. I think they're really starting to form their own, and the cuts that they're going to do and fill off of Ty and Neubauer, they're doing a great job.
Oh, Easton did a good job running the football. But Deuce Lawrence, I love it when he breaks those long runs. It gives me a chance to show out a little bit and say Deuce is on the loose, but he is on the loose. And folks, the best is yet to come for that young man.
Absolutely, and I at the start of the year, we were breaking in a lot of guys, especially offensively, that are upperclassmen but had limited reps coming into the season. And I think we're going to see more and more growth throughout the year from those guys.
Now, officially, as far as full-time starters, I think we only had 3 really. We had a 4th that started. This is one of the youngest offensive teams you've had in a while at Jackson Christian.
It is, but it also speaks to the program and the culture that we've created with it's a next man up mentality, and those guys have really bought into it, and they're starting to grow into their role.
And I got down on the field because we had to pack up, and our exit was a little quicker than normal on the post-game show because we're on the road. They're wanting to get their lights out and this, that, and the other. But I got to see some of the parents. What I like is the kids have already got the family attitude. Mm-hmm. I can see it's coming over to the parents now, and it's going to be a big wave of family at Jackson Christian School.
Absolutely, and that's been our motto in our football program for years, where it's a forget about me, I love you, but also we're a brotherhood on and off the field, and I think it's bleeding over into everybody. And Jackson Christian, ever since I've been here, has always welcomed my family and always has been a family, and so I'm just excited to be a part of it.
Well, you got a chance to be real family. Correct me if I'm wrong. We've got a tailgate party before the ball game Friday night, and I invite people to get there early.
Yeah, and we'll talk to Blake Beckham about that. He's going to be our school staff interview here in a few minutes, and he'll be excited and fired up to talk about that. And had a good turnout the last time we did it, and we expect a good crowd. Friday night rivalry game, not a far trip, so we're excited about that and the next opportunity for our guys to play together.
Absolutely, Darby, you or Brian, either one. The film's been graded, the comments have been made, and it's time to move on from that game. Any last comments before we move on from Friday night's big win?
Yeah, just love seeing the heart that our guys played with. No football season is going to be perfect, but having those guys stick together and battle through adversity and come out on the other end victorious, it's good to learn those lessons early on. It's good to be in some of those battles early on as we start this season. For those guys to figure out, hey, what are we made of? What are we made of when our back's up against the wall? And it was really good to see our guys come out and fight.
Absolutely. Before we take our first break, Coach Buller and I always look for, and he does a good job of this, and so does Chase McLean. We want to thank Chase for all the help he gives on. We've got a noteworthy list that is long as all get out. Coach, you want to take it after the break, or you want to go ahead and knock this noteworthy list
We can go
out?
ahead and close out Good Pasture. Jay, another big night, 10 receptions for 202 yards, and he's climbing up the ladder of the receiving yard ranks at Jackson Christian. Kyle White, 15 total tackles, 2.5 tackles for loss. What a great effort from him and our defense. You mentioned Deuce, 17 rushes, 102 yards and a score. Easton, 7 rushes for 83 yards and 2 touchdowns. And, we'll get a chance to talk to Coach Reichert here in a minute and let him kind of go on about his offensive line. And, those yards don't happen without them. And our guys are firing out and hitting people, and another good night for them. And, we already talked about the defensive line, but a really good pasture team, and they'll win some games. And our guys, they hit us, and we responded. And, the crowd just traveling 2.5 hours kind of lifted us there on some third downs and some fourth downs that we needed from our defense. And it was just a good night for Jackson Christian.
It was overall. I do want to mention Dre Bowles, who went on to play at UT, and Jalen is not far behind them. And, folks, this was one of the young men from Jackson Christian, one of the most highly recruited young men before Jalen, and Jalen is following his footsteps and is on the track of passing from everywhere from where you're ranked in the recruiting annals, also in yardage and things like that. I'm going to say one thing. He showed me heart coming in for that last defensive series and it ended probably as appropriately as it could.
Absolutely. I think he played 5 or 6 snaps defensively, and he had a tackle for loss and then a pick to end the game. So when he's slowly starting to get healthy, and being able to play him both ways is going to be huge down the stretch.
Absolutely. We're at Hub City Deli. You're welcome to come down. Keep watching on the Jackson Christian School Facebook. Worthy Road Studios brings you this broadcast, and we've got the two best in the world. Gary Lockhart is working hard. Paul is here helping, but he's also feeding his face, and you can come down here and do the same thing. We'll be back with the Jackson Christian Eagle Show after this.
Downtown is thriving, and the Blacksmith Restaurant is leading the pack. From the rustic dining room to the unmatched patio, eating local with family is what we're about. Live local, eat local, relax local.
No matter where you are, you can shop 24/7 at HumboldtDodgeChryslerJeep.com with the area's largest used car inventory.
And he's back there drawing on napkins. I know what he's doing, creating new plays and things like that. We are in the next segment of the Jackson Christian Eagle Show. Coach Bullard and I will host this in, but we have a very special guest. Last week we had a very special guest. Both those men figured into it. Rob Phillips, I got to sit beside his dad, and we had a running conversation. But Coach Will Reichard, in the second half, your offense was almost flawless, and other than, I keep calling it a Murphy's Law game, it really wasn't that bad in the first half. But, in Murphy's Law, anything can go wrong. It will, and some people have added at the wrong time. Well, that's probably what happened, and guess what? Your kids, the defensive kids, played through it.
They really did. I think I told Cedric after the game, I said, man, we both kind of had to bail each other out tonight. Am I good? Good. But no, you're right, and it's good to get games like that early in the season and still be able to come out victorious where we had some adversity, we had some things not go our way, and being able to push through that. And that's what we talked about with the line at halftime. We're going to win this game one play at a time, and it's don't focus on the big picture, don't focus in the moment. Go out, run the next play, execute it.
Well, we didn't lose our 111th or one play at a time, but I'm still impressed with us playing through it. I've been with Jackson Christian off and on for a long time. I used to work for a radio station from 2000 to, worked with a station that did some games back in the 1900s, the late or the 1990s to be better. These young men didn't fold the other night, and see, Good Pasture had already experienced that. They had their white knuckler, slobber knocker, right, nail biter the week before, and our kids, let's be honest, we had control of both football games. Even North Point game, really, I'm going to go ahead and say it wasn't as close as you thought. They were close enough to strike, but y'all could move the football, get the first down we needed. These kids came through in the clutch.
They really did, and I was so proud of keeping our composure because I think if you look at even last year's team, that might have been a struggle in that moment. But the fact that they could persevere and, again, keep executing and really believing in each other, right? You don't overcome a margin like that if you don't trust the guy next to you to do their job, and that's exactly what happened.
Oh, absolutely, and I'm going to mention one more thing. Your running game has multiple facets to it. You've got two great ones. Easton Jones does a great job at Deuce Lawrence, but you can always run Jalen in there. Mm-hmm. And don't forget about Brother Carrier can carry the football too sometimes. He's got the speed to cut loose on a jet sweep. Jack Collins come through there, mm-hmm, and he's got speed. So we haven't even tapped everything.
Oh, no, sir. And when you lose a player like Cameron Boyd last year, who's such a dynamic ball carrier, we knew that we weren't going to have that one guy who could just slide in and carry that load. We knew it was going to have to be by committee. And you made a great observation. All those guys have done a great job shouldering the load and doing their job. And it's great to have a change of pace. You get Deuce all game, and he's such a solid runner, really good at reading where he needs to run. And then you bring in Easton off the bench. I know he's playing defense, but, that's a change of pace where he comes in, and he's electric too. So, you're spot on. Just all those guys doing their job. It's been great.
Hey, Coach Bullard, for you, I'm going to get both of you to comment on this. We're not having to play as many people both ways this year. We can get Easton some rest and then bring him in fresh. Yeah. We've got fresh linemen that we can bring in. We got defensive backs. We got offensive backs, even at the wide out spot. That is very important that we don't have to play everybody both ways.
It was, and it proved extremely important because I don't know that we took care of our nutrition and hydration as good as we did the week before. When it's kind of cooler outside, your mind starts tricking into thinking you don't have to hydrate as much. And so we had some guys going down there in that game and had guys step up. And it's a luxury, and I'll have Coach Reichert speak on this, but what does it mean as a coordinator, as an offensive line coach, to have those 5 guys come over on defense and be able to y'all talk through things and kind of make tweaks on the fly?
Well, it's huge. First off, as y'all said, just from a conditioning standpoint, I don't care how good of shape you're in these early games. If you're playing both ways, by the time that fourth quarter rolls around, you're going to be tired. You're going to be performing at a lesser capacity than you were in the first quarter. And the fact that those 5 guys up front don't have to do that, and you throw Daniel in there too. He plays spot reps on defense, but those guys are fresh. And like you said, Coach Bull, being able to come over and make some adjustments, talk about what they're seeing up front, it's huge. And it's a luxury that at small private school level football that not many people have. So, yeah, we don't want to take that for granted. We want to take advantage of that, especially as it's still hot outside, as I'm sure it's going to be Friday night.
So as we close out Good Pasture, we always want to hit on the upcoming week as well. Studied plenty of film. We've had a day of a full practice, and then today was a little bit interrupted with storms and things like that. What challenges do you see from USJ from your perspective as an offensive play caller and offensive line coach?
Well, I think the first thing that jumps out is just how hard they play. Those guys really get after it. And if you look at the D-line, it's going to be a little bit different challenge than we faced the first 3 weeks. We've played some lines that have really outsized us up front. That's not going to be the case this week, but, man, those guys get off the ball quick. And they're trying to get penetration, and they're ripping and getting off the line. So that's going to be a challenge for us in our gap scheme offense. Can we cut off penetration and let our guards to pull? So that's going to be the biggest challenge. And then the weekly challenge is, all right, what are teams going to do to try to take away Jay, right? They're a well-coached team. I got a lot of respect for their coaching staff. They're not just going to sit in their base coverage and let us throw the ball 15, 20 times to Jay. So, you don't really know how to prepare for that. You can kind of guess, okay, hey, they're a 3-4 defense. Here are some things they can do. But just that aspect, okay, what are they going to throw? What wrinkles are they going to throw coverage-wise? What wrinkles are they going to throw from a blitz perspective to try to disrupt our passing game that's been pretty good early on this year?
Yeah, and who is maybe one player that jumps out for them on their defense that you have to be concerned about and kind of tweak things for?
Well, number 7, the inside linebacker, what's his name?
McMillan.
He's one of the best linebackers that I can remember coaching against in recent history. Even last year he gave us so many issues. He just flies around. He's got a great nose for the football. Very athletic, strong kid. Plays with reckless abandon. So that's the first thing. We got to make sure that when our tackles climb, our guards climb, that we have to seal him off and at least get a body on him. He's going to make his fair share of tackles. We just can't allow those big momentum plays to happen where he's unblocked and he causes a fumble, because he's certainly capable of doing that.
Let me ask you a kind of a family question. Mm-hmm. Your parents are always in the end zone. And so this year your dad is doing something a little different for us, and it's a big thing, especially as an offensive guy on your offensive line, running that end zone camera. What is that? Does that bring any kind of emotions for you, or is it just your dad's just stepping up and saying, hey, I'll take care of whatever y'all need done to help you out?
It's funny that first week against North Point, we didn't have an end zone filmer, so I asked him if he just kind of wanted to do it to step in for us. And I think he loved it. My dad's kind of like me. He doesn't love talking to people. So the fact that he was able to sit at a table and actually watch the game and kind of do a job, I think he loved it. So and ever since then, he wants to keep doing it. And it's funny, he'll text me during the week and he'll ask for feedback, like, how did I do? Like, what can I do better? So he loves it. And he doesn't view it as doing a service for us. This is something he enjoys doing, and because he's at the games anyway. Yeah. So,
Coach, they've got some other players. McMillan, you're right. I agree with you. He's been a difference maker for more than 1 year. They've still got that stout, I call them a stout defensive line like they've had in the past. Noah Spencer seems to be their ball hawk right now, and he's leading them in interceptions, and he is playing a lot of minutes. But we just got to keep an eye on where he lines up and what he's doing in their secondary.
No, you're exactly right. And like I said earlier, they're going to have some type of wrinkle adjustment to take away the things we like to do in the passing game. And they've actually got 2 really good safeties. Number 11 as well is a good ball player. So I imagine that they're going to stick one of those guys on Jay and try to put their best athlete on our best athlete. And it's going to be a fun match. Coach Pritchard, he's coached at a lot of good football teams, and I know he's going to have a really good game plan for what we do. So it's going to be another great challenge for us.
And you're right about that. I know him from when he worked for Ricky Bowers at Innsworth, and then the coach that followed Coach Bowers. And he's a defensive man to begin with. He's got Bo Wallace over there, which doesn't to run his offense, not affect your side, but I believe he's still got control of it. Yeah. Now, barring that, what do you want to say to all our great fans out there and the general overall comment, then we'll wrap this segment up?
I'll just say this. The amount of support we've gotten so far has been unbelievable, from the student section to the parents, just the fans that love to just come out and watch us. So y'all don't know how much that means to us as coaches, even as players. So keep that up as we go through the season, and we look to make a deep run on this thing.
Boy, that's a great job. This man, if you ever get a chance to sit down and talk offensive football, he can talk defensive football, but he knows how to make it happen. He's used to putting points on the board. He's just a fine all-around guy. Coach Reichert is one of those guys that, hey, if you're going to go to a place and eat steak, you'd want to go and eat steak with him. We are here at Hub City Deli, Jackson Christian's Facebook, Worthy Road Studios, producing, directing, and doing all of the good stuff. Come on out here. I'm sure Blake Beckham's already had the sandwich. The Beckham, he will be with us in just a few moments, but let's take that time out. We'll be back after these important messages. Whether you're relocating into Jackson or just wanting something new and different, call Kenny Sutherland with 5-Star Real Estate Services. He can help make your dreams become a reality. With over 20 years experience and helping over 1,000 families with their new home purchases, there's a reason that he is your new construction expert and home buying specialist. Call Kenny today, direct at 731-444-1164 or 731-661-9000. We are back, thanks to Gary getting us back, and the Director of Advancement. I'm going to let him give you his whole title. We're sitting here, and I feel like I need to sit down, bow down or something. One of the most important human beings at Jackson Christian. We're giving him a hard time. Also the creator of the Beckham, the sandwich here at Hub City Deli, which my wife likes so much. But Brother Beckham, you are here with us. I'm laughing about that because I hear now. She said, you're not supposed to mention that. But Blake Beckham is one of the good guys. He could coach if he needed to, but he's also a pretty good hamburger flipper too. Now, I will tell off on him and all that. Brian, I'm going to let you open up the question with one. He's also a very popular guy. Now, I got to ask this, though. One of the kids told me, who's in charge of the trash can milkshakes this year? Somebody said you are.
I think there's a group of us at some point, maybe next week, that are doing something. I don't have the recipe for it. I'm not taking ownership of it. I'll be there to help them whatever way I can.
Well, I was put up to that by some of the students.
Yeah, I think we're going to do our best to get them done.
Blake, thank you for being with us here at Hub City tonight. I'm going to ask you a football question. Just because of your perspective on Friday nights, you and your brother, y'all are down there helping us out, getting footballs in and out of the game. Talk a little bit about the first half and then how you saw our guys come out in the second half and the kind of performance that they put on.
So the game started out, I don't think it could have started any better. I think it took us 4 plays to score, went straight down the field, almost unopposed in some ways, and then we make a quick stop, and then of course you have the fumble and then another fumble, and it's almost like everything possibly that could have gone wrong for our guys did. And I remember I was talking to somebody at halftime. I don't remember if it was Chase or my brother, but I just said, man, I feel like we really kind of dominated that half of football, and yet we're down 2 scores. And it's one of those things where you could easily say they're going to come out, be flat, and just get run over. And pretty quickly, I think it was the first or second play of the second half, Kai Wyatt makes a big stop and looks over and kind of just looks over the sidelines and gets fired up. And I thought, I think we're going to win this game. And, of course, they took care of business and really absolutely dominated the rest of the way, which was exciting. I loved all the excitement on the sidelines.
Yeah, and we were just talking about that with the fans and people traveling, and kind of lifted our defense there on some drives, and we're obviously love that, and our players feed off of that. Blake, talk about Jackson Christian. What are some things we just left over from the elementary game? I know softball got canceled tonight, but middle school soccer was playing, elementary football going on. Talk about some activities that are going on campus right now, and then I want you to talk about Friday from your perspective of what all the activities that will be going on around the game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm sure y'all have covered everything that's going on campus, but this time of year, if you want to come out and be around great young people and families and support our student athletes, you could come to campus pretty much any day of the week, and you're going to find something going on, whether it's volleyball or soccer or football or softball. There's just a lot going on. I know everybody's busy, everybody's got stuff going on, but it really feeds into our theme for the year, which is family. Like, that's a huge part of Jackson Christian, and for those that have been around the school for a long time, you see that play out regularly. When I left campus, you had Coach Ray, Coach Phillips, and Dr. Lonis were on the grill, and so you have these people that are doing stuff, serving all day, going to practice, and then they're stepping in and they're going to grill burgers. So it's just it's a neat place where everybody chips in and does their part to make it a special place. This Friday, obviously the football game's exciting. So a couple years ago, we started doing family-wide tailgates when the weather was cooperative before games. And last year we had a tailgate where we probably had 700 or 800 people before the game. And so we had one a few weeks ago. We got lucky where we kind of got in between some of the hot spells that we had, and the weather was perfect. And this week we're doing another one. We've got a couple of food trucks that are coming. I know one of them is Hot Diggity Dog, and I can't remember the name of the other one, but we'll have food trucks there. Brian Vaughn texted me about 10 minutes ago and said the 10th grade class is they're challenging all other tailgates for best tailgate. And Daniel Kennedy, who's one of our grill guys on Friday night, said he is smoking brisket for 40 people.
Wow.
So that'll be cool. We'll have a bouncy house. The band and cheerleaders will perform at 6. And if you've not been to it yet, come out. If you're new to Jackson Christian, come out, meet some people, bring a little bit of food, get food from the concession stand, get food from the food truck. It really is it gives you a good feeling when you're standing up on the hill and you look out, and it really is kind of a sea of blue, and you've got hundreds of kids playing and parents laughing and talking, and it's just a special environment, and I think it helps feed into hopefully what will be a wonderful night for Jackson Christian in the football game.
Blake, I know you want to invite non-Jackson Christian parents to come out and check us out, see what a wonderful educational opportunity they got, a family opportunity, a fun. We're fun in all sports, but we play to win. Don't get me wrong, folks. But and if you get a chance, talk to Blake. He is one of the most personable and enjoyable young men I know, and he is a vice president, but he's not running for the national government.
Blake, we had a fan question, and I got a text about somebody asking about a 65-yard touchdown pass that you caught maybe against FRA.
Yeah, it was against Franklin Road Academy my senior year. We, I think it was our third or fourth game of the year. We were 3-0 at the time, and Will Healy, who's now at Central Florida with Gus Malzahn, was our quarterback. And it was Will was unbelievably talented, and he still is, and he's proven that through his coaching success. But he could scramble around forever, and it was one of those plays where I didn't do anything special. He scrambled around for probably 10 seconds, and I just kind of snuck behind the defense and happened to get lucky and catch the ball with nobody around me. And I think I had to run in about 30 yards after I caught it. Probably the easiest touchdown I could have ever scored, though. And that was Chase McLean, I'm sure, that sent that in.
It was. He was trying to remain anonymous, but you got him. So there's no secret about our in-town rivalries that we have in USJ. Really good program. We have a lot of respect for those guys. You went to Boyd Buchanan. Was there an in-town kind of matchup for you guys when you were in high school that it was close, it was in proximity, you knew those guys, they knew y'all? Did y'all have any games like that?
In football, our biggest rival was South Pittsburgh, who at the time they were in our region, and Vic Grider was the coach there, and they had so many successful teams in the late 90s and early 2000s. In basketball, it was Chattanooga Christian and Tennessee Temple. And I think those two schools combined for maybe 4 straight state championships when I was in high school. So we had some in-town rivalries, but I don't think it's when I moved to Jackson. I think the rivalries here are a little bit bigger, a little bit more intense. So
I got to ask this. Since you mentioned Vic Ryder in South Pittsburgh, did they run their version of what I still call a single wing? And
yes.
They just try to cow trump you, although there were occasions they could actually throw the football.
Yeah, when we played them my senior year, I think they were ranked number 1 in the state. And, of course, they're just running the option and dives up the middle. And we played an invert cover 2 to where we essentially had kind of 10 guys in the box. Yeah. And I think we beat them 47-7.
I saw a film. I wished I'd seen the touchdown. Now you got me. Is there any film left of your touchdown?
There is some film out there. I don't know. I've not found that one. My senior year, we got beat in the state championship against CPA. Yeah. In overtime, and there's some film out there.
I did one of CPA's games that year.
Okay.
They were very good. Got to ask you this: Blake works so hard, but what can we as a family at Jackson Christian and the people do to help you?
So today is actually this week we've kicked off our family fund, which is our annual fund drive, which this is our 5th year to do it. And our goal is we don't have a monetary goal. We just want everybody to do something. We've got people that give $20,000, and we've got people that will give me $5. But it would be awesome if we could look at the Jackson community and say, hey, our families are so bought in, our teachers are so bought in, that 100% of our people support the mission of Jackson Christian, and not only sending their students to Jackson Christian, but also giving back to make this place the best place that it can be.
Absolutely, and I've heard that our students don't mind chipping in a little bit too. It's not just parents and grandparents and people
Any
like that.
opportunity for them to wear a T-shirt.
Blake, it's your turn to say anything you want to. We got a great audience stretched out, I know, all the way to the eastern border of Tennessee, and we're going out of state to the west some, and people are driving. I just got a note that, hey, I'm listening to y'all, can't watch you, and you can run this through your car radios too if you've got one of those radios that handles Facebook. Anything you want to say to the folks?
I called Coach Palmer yesterday and said, man, I love watching our coaches. I love watching our coaching staff get after it. Coach Bull, Coach Riker, Coach Phillips, Coach Wyatt, Coach Palmer, they're awesome. They're awesome men. They're awesome coaches. And I am thankful to be able to watch them teach and mold our young men every week. And I know they want to be successful, but I think they will be more. Our young people will be more successful in life because of the time that these guys are pouring into them every week, and it's a special group for sure.
And there he is, Blake Beckham. We appreciate him taking time out. If he ever slows down at a football game, we're going to capture him and put a headset on him sometime at a football game. We are here at Hub City Deli, Worthy Road Studios, producing and directing. Gary and Paul are here. Coach Bullard's here. Darby has been here. Darby's wearing 2 hats, so I see Chase over there in the crowd. And we are here on the Jackson Christian Eagle Show, which is so important. We'd like you to be part of it. Appreciate all of you that watch. And to answer one question, the night before or the game before, I was able to watch and see some comments. Internet was interesting, to say the least, up at Good Pasture, and I wasn't able, and I appreciate all of you that made comments, and our young men are the finest. But last thing, and I'm going to borrow a minute from you, Gary, and Gary's a good guy. He gives me – we got homecoming coming up after this game. I know that this is a non-region game. It's a rivalry. It's important. But next Monday, the fun and festivities start.
Yeah, well, it's actually going to start next Sunday night. We have our
Sunday night
Powder Puff game, and then on Wednesday night we're actually doing I think we're calling it a family fireside devo, and we're going to have a little bonfire behind the Fine Arts Center and have a family devotional. Thursday night we're going to have the inaugural alumni flag football game. So hopefully some of our young or maybe even older alumni that want to come back and be a part of that.
Well, I'm coming to watch you play.
I'm not playing it.
We're going to put you in there anyway.
And then, of course, Friday night we have the alumni tent and all the homecoming festivities. So it should be a fantastic week.
There it is, another reason for you to be part of the Jackson Christian family. You are watching the Eagle Show. We'll be back at Hub City Deli with Worthy Road Studios after this important timeout.
We realize you have a busy lifestyle. And at the Bank of Jackson, we're here to help you fulfill all of your financial needs, personal and business loans. mortgages, online banking and bill pay, and so much more. Serving the Jackson area for 25 years. The Bank of Jackson, your down-home community bank. You belong here. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
And we are back for the next segment of the Jackson Christian Eagle Show. Worthy Road Studios and Jackson Christian Facebook bringing you this. We're at Hub City Deli. Brian Bullard, Coach Joe Holloway. Darby Palmer has already been with us. Blake Beckham. And we've got a young man that I am so glad that he came back out football. He probably, and he could reach over here and crush me for saying that, but one of the sure-handedest first basemen I've ever seen. But just the kind of guy that, you know, you'd want to sit down and talk to. You say, you want to talk to teenagers? You're an old man at 72. No, this young man is special. He exudes the family influence and all that. Now, he's not braggadocious. He may be to his friends. He just does the job. And, of course, Brian, we want to let you open up with it, and I'll come back with – I get to ask you the fun stuff. Coach has to ask you all the technical stuff.
Absolutely. Daniel, thank you for being with us tonight. Friday, we make the trip to Good Pasture. We coming off 2 good wins, coming off of I would say more clean wins, and then we get into the first half. Friday, we score quick, and then some adversity sets in. A couple turnovers, put the ball on the ground. They scored the blocked field goal, which was kind of a weird thing to happen in a football game like that. What was the message among the guys, among the players at halftime?
Really, we just came out flat in that first half, and we, like you said, made a few mistakes. But really, between the players, we just had to stop shooting ourselves in the foot and quit the tomfoolery, and just play more clean.
Move it over just a little bit, Daniel. Sometimes we have to – everybody's head is stuff a little different, and Gary is trying to give me some instruction on it.
I'm sorry. Like I said, the players, we just had to kind of decide between ourselves whether we're going to come out in the second half and just give up, or we're going to come back and quit the tomfoolery and play serious and play the way we typically play. So
it was obvious that, you guys made a good adjustment. And you've been on different teams where that hasn't always been the case.
Yes,
you've probably been a part of some teams where that score might have kept going the other way. So it was a tremendous job and a tremendous testament to you guys, and being a senior, being a leader, and we ended up on the right side of that score. Daniel, you were looking at my sheet earlier, and under your line, it was just a catch, but I told you, and you know this, you want to catch the football. You love doing that. But, man, there's something about seeing Deuce run for 102 yards and Easton run for 83 yards and, almost 200 yards on the ground, and how much of a role you play in that. Talk about the jump you've made as a blocking tight end, and which doesn't always go noticed by people.
Last year I felt like I kind of had to earn my catches a little bit. Of course, having Cam behind you, he made it easy as a blocker. But really just learning to love blocking before you can love to catch the ball as a tight end is very vital, and just knowing and learning the position. So, and I have a great group of offensive linemen beside me that obviously help me out a ton, and just make big old holes for the running backs to run through and stuff.
So a lot of your stuff, and we saw this against Trenton, and a lot of your stuff kind of depends on how they play our runs and what the box looks like and all those things. So talk about just staying ready when your number is called to catch a pass, and how do you do that along with giving max effort on run plays?
It's really just what y'all preach to us, giving it our all every single play. And then occasionally when my number is called to catch that pass, I just have to slow down and not get worked up, and then typically have to draw off my gloves on my towel and rub them together and stuff. But just staying calm, cool, and collective. And Austin does a great job just getting the ball to his receivers and getting the ball out quick and making it a lot easier on us as receivers. So.
Yeah, and Coach, I'll go one more, and then you can get into some of your stuff with him. But we know who is coming Friday. USJ coming, really well coached team, skilled team. Man, they play hard. What are some things that you've noticed from your film study that you and the guys are kind of discussing?
Just how hard they play defensively, like Coach Riker was talking about earlier. They hustle nonstop, and they know that they're playing us this week, and so that hustle is not going to slow down at all. It's going to speed up, if anything. But more importantly, just playing the way we typically play and playing our brand of football, like the coaches always talk about, and just treating this game as just another game. So.
Absolutely, I agree with you on that. A couple of fun things, but I got to ask you one technical question. Does the football help the baseball, or does the baseball help the football? Because as far as first base, you're one of the finest fielding first basemen there is. You get a lot of things. You saved a lot of errors. And when we keep our eyes on the baseball and focus, we're a pretty good hitter. Does the focus of football help it, or do they help each other?
The hand-eye coordination is catching a football and catching a baseball kind of always come easy to me, but I'd say football helps baseball, like in the weight room and stuff, because I typically work out with with football in mind, and so that obviously helps for baseball.
Absolutely. Let's get a couple of fun things. What's your favorite sports memory at Jackson Christian School?
Last year, baseball playoffs, when my buddy Carson Holt hit a walk-off grand slam against USJ.
Wasn't that great? That thing was gone. You knew it was gone, and you were as happy as for him. And wonder, as far as favorite sports memory in football, what would it be?
I really loved last year. Last year when we came back against MTCS in the playoffs, that was that kind of changed the culture, I guess, a little bit. That was kind of a hump that we've been trying to get over for a couple years in a row, and we finally did it, and that team was special, and that game was special.
Absolutely. What about your favorite class, and who teaches that class?
Definitely sociology with Caleb Johnson.
Okay, and your favorite food, and I like some of the food that this young man and Caleb eat too. I was looking at that.
Yes, sir, sushi, and pretty much anything my grandmothers make.
Oh, man. And, of course, we've already established now you don't play basketball, but did you ever play basketball?
I've not. I played like Pee-wee and stuff.
Well, that's okay. Your favorite Bible verse?
Philippians 3:14.
Okay, Philippians 3:14, and that is a very good one to have. And several other young men on the team have that. Now, what about hobbies?
Outside of football, I like just hanging out with my friends and hunting and fishing and stuff. We were dove hunting 2 days in a row our days off of school, so hanging out with buddies and stuff.
Now, there are some people, men, women, boys, girls. Your fun fact about yourself, there are people in this city that would die to do what you have done. Can you tell everybody what you have done?
I went to a little football camp in Georgia or Florida, maybe, I don't know, but Alabama. I caught a pass from Peyton Manning.
That people would kill.
Yes, sir.
Got a quick comment, like a Go Eagles or something like that you want to give everybody?
Go Eagles. Thank you for coming out and supporting. The faculty does a great job of kind of stoking that fire a little bit, and the attendance at these games, even for away games, has been awesome.
Absolutely.
So just keep it up throughout the season.
Like I said, come see him in baseball, too. I love calling his baseball games. But he's worth the price of admission to watch him and the rest of the Eagles on this football season. We're going to take a timeout. We're here at Hub City Deli. We're with the Jackson Christian Eagle Show. Worthy Road Studios is helping produce, direct, and camera work and everything. Gary Lockhart, Paul Schultz is here. Let's take that timeout. We'll be back after this.
Hello folks, this is Gary Deaton, right here at Deaton's Carpet One. I want to let you know we've been in business for 48 years. Here's what I believe has made the difference. Our lifetime labor warranty on everything we install. Our healthy living installation, bacteria and germs cannot survive in our new flooring. Our beautiful guarantee, if you don't just love it, we'll replace it. It will make your flooring experience priceless. We're located on Freedom Highway, 1000 Highway 45 bypass in good old Jackson, Tennessee.
We are back here at Hub City Daily on the Jackson Christian Eagle Show. Brian Bullard, Coach Joe Holloway, Chase McLean still here. We've got activities going on over at the school. I believe that's Jennifer Wheeler also. Our softball coach is here, and we'll wave at her for a minute. But it is my privilege to introduce you to a guy that I wouldn't want him to hit me running the football. I'd probably just hand it to him to keep him from hitting me. And I used to be fast. He probably could chase me down from behind even when I was young, and I love watching him play. Now, he wears number 48, and first of all, I've got to ask you before Brian takes over, did you choose that number, or was it just the one assigned to you?
I choose that number.
Okay, I was told to ask you that. Now, here comes Coach Bullard with the fun technical questions for Caleb.
Absolutely. Caleb Newsom, thanks for being here with us tonight. And looking at your numbers against Good Pasture, 5 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, that tackle for loss being a sack. I like to let fans kind of get into what you saw and what our guys see on certain plays. Talk about that sack and what that meant to our team and kind of what you saw during that play.
That sack was an important sack. It was a very, very, very changing momentum in the game. That play, it was like significant to me. It was like very vital, and I was just playing my assignment. I was doing my job, and that was like about it.
Okay, so what you mentioned, doing your job, and I want to talk about you and Sed and Gavin, and y'all make me and Coach Gillum proud, and we have to we could take credit, but you guys work so hard. And you three and the rest of those defensive linemen every single day doing the everyday drills, doing the sled work, doing all the things that Coach Gillum, the pass rush, all those things. You make us proud every single night. And talk about Gavin a little bit. Gavin didn't play much last year, kind of got some reps here and there, got some JV reps. But now he's playing opposite you, and he complements you very well. You're more power. He's more speed. What have you seen from Gavin and his game this year?
Gavin came very far. He progressively got better in his game. He worked at his craft every day at practice. Nothing but more positivity towards his direction, and hope he get better and be better than me next year.
And that's a great attitude to have, because you're pushing him and he's seeing you and Sed go first in every drill. And when your two leaders of the defensive line go first in every drill and give max effort, that's a great example for these young guys to see. Talk about this for me, and then I'm going to give it back to Coach to ask some of your more personal questions. You guys won't hardly let us take you out of defensive reps in practice. You Caleb, you Sed and Gavin want to get every rep, and that is something that hasn't always been the case. What is that mindset, and where does that come from for y'all?
Where it come from is like discipline, repetition every day, taking every play like it's our last play. Like every play is our last play, and going 100% every time the snap, every time.
Absolutely. Coach Joe, do you want to ask some of his?
Yeah, let's go down. Let's you and I have some fun with this stuff. First of all, I'm going to start off with food. Loved your choices. Tell everybody what your favorite foods are.
My favorite food is crab legs and steak.
Absolutely. You can't go wrong with a man that likes crab legs and steak. Now, what about your favorite class? You had an interesting one.
My favorite class this year is probably got to be math.
Okay, your math class. And who's your math teacher?
Coach Heisman.
Okay. And let's combine these. You can name 2 moments. One, just a favorite sports memory, and then a favorite football moment at Jackson Christian.
Favorite sports memory would have to be winning against TCA.
Yeah, that is all, and that was a tough one too, wasn't it? And what about your favorite Bible verse?
Favorite Bible verse? I know I put John 3:16, but one that really sticks to me is Philippians 3:13.
And, well, I knew you had two because last year you had two listed on your sheet, and it was John 3:16 and Philippians both. And there's nothing wrong with having two favorite verses. What about other sports do you play?
Other sports do I play? I put no answer, but I really like playing basketball. I can see myself playing basketball this year, but I don't know.
Tell Coach Kyle you want to come out. I think you'd make a great shot putter, though, on the track team.
Yeah.
Man, I bet this guy could win the state throwing the shot. I'm serious. What about your hobbies?
My hobbies, I like fishing and playing video games.
Absolutely. What's a fun fact that people need to know about Caleb Newsom, having fun and playing football and just enjoying school?
I'm very unpredictable on the field. Like, some people don't know where I'm going to go. Some people might not know what I'm going to do. I can throw a move, or I can just beat you with my strength.
Well, I heard the guys the other night wanted to put a tracker on you so they'd know where you come from. He chased one guy down all over that field, and he's good about coming from the backside. Caleb, anything you want to say to the fans, and you've got a lot of them. He's a very personable young man, but it's your turn to talk to the Jackson Christian and other fans.
Hope to see y'all Friday night. I'm going to put out a great plan, a great play. I'm going to come out and do my best.
Absolutely. Come up and talk to me sometime during basketball. Coach Bullard, I'd love to have a few words with you, good words, though, during that. And I'm going to steal you toboggan. He's got an Abercrombie and Fitch toboggan on. And I'm teasing about stealing it, but I like that. Very good taste. There he is, the one and only. He's number 48, but he's number one in a lot of you's heart. Caleb Newsom, and what a rusher he is, and quarterbacks don't like to see him come. We're going to take a timeout and come back and wrap this show up at Hub City Deli.
Football is one reason to love fall. Here's another. Save up to $16,000 on a fully loaded in-ground pool built this fall. Come by Aloha Custom Pool's massive showroom on Carriage House Drive in Jackson for full details and see available styles in person.
Cooler weather this fall and a colder winter makes a spot even more enjoyable. Aloha Custom Pool's massive showroom features a huge selection of spas from the biggest names in the business. Come see us on Carriage House Drive in Jackson today.
We are back with the final segment of the Eagle Show. Coach Brian Bullard, Coach Joe Holloway, Coach Palmer, Coach Reichard, Chase, all of them been here. Two fine young men. You'd love to have either one of them as your sons, Daniel Green and Caleb Newsom. And, Coach, we've talked about a little of everything, including, well, I think we mentioned Caleb, but he had 5 tackles and 1 for loss. And he ran a long way for that one. I meant to bring that out. And Daniel, of course, when you need him, he's there. He'll block you, etc., like that. But let's close this thing out. And we've got to find out who our Southern Capital Player of the Week is. We got the tailgate party. But we've got a football game that is very important against a school that we respect their ability from the past, and I'm sure they respect ours.
Yeah, and this is I think Daniel said it best, and this is nice to hear from a player that, sometimes that they can get caught up in the emotions and just that it's another football game, and that's what it is. And I talk every week about opportunities, and so this is the 4th opportunity for our guys to go out and play together and be successful. And it just so happens that it's against a school that's close in town, that we know them, they know us. And so, they're coming in with a new head coach, but obviously through 3 games, they're getting it done. And their defense plays hard. They cause turnovers. They get stops when they have to. Noah Spencer at running back is a really good back, a quality running back that can get loose, and we've seen that throughout the 3 games that we've watched them on film. And so, it's another as we made this schedule, and as Coach Palmer tried to put the schedule together, you look at it as getting ready for our region run, and that's this last one. This last one is getting us. These 4 will get us ready to go into the region, and from the different size and the speed and all the things we've seen, the region will pose challenges, but we should be prepared, and that's why we wanted to play that schedule, and our guys have done a great job and responded to that.
And you're absolutely right about being prepared, because FACS is a much better team than they've been in the past. Tipton Rosemark's flexing a little muscle too, and now Fayette Academy, who will be our first region opponent, but we can't look ahead to them. We got one game, one decision to make, and it's one of those things that we got to keep, the old cliches, and they're coach, but they're true. Keep the turnovers down, constantly be moving forward, make good judgments, play hard, play smart, and have fun, and you can win a lot of football games.
That's absolutely right, and it's another opportunity for our guys. And so you mentioned this just a minute ago, and I want to make sure we hit on this. Kyle Wyatt edged out Easton Jones on our Southern Capital Player of the Week. It was a 1% difference there. So I think we had almost 40 or 50 fans vote on that, and so that's we wanted to make sure we hit on that. And Family Tailgate, Blake did a great job and has been trying to promote that on our campus, and so it's going to be crowded. There's going to be a lot of folks here, and we're excited to, more importantly, showcase our guys and how hard they work and the time and the effort that they put in.
And all we need to do is come and be disciplined, play hard. USJ is going to come and play hard. Throw the record books out. Forget that it's a non-region game for a change. This is USJ and Jackson Christian School, and it probably will turn out to be a slobber knocker. I want to thank, I've been watching, I finally got mine going. We have had some great comments made and people watching our show. Please pass the word on. Support these young men and ladies. We've had the ladies. We start off the year with the ladies, and we want to see you at Southern Capitol Field. And if you want to, you can watch the game, and on your iPhones, your Android phones, you can see our broadcast of it. It's archived on YouTube, and perpetuity, it'll be there. It's there for a long time on Jackson Christian's Facebook, and again, Worthy Road Studio. Brian, any quick comment?
Yeah, I always don't want to leave out Hub City Deli for taking care of us and giving us a couple tables and taking care of our guys with a meal, and it's always a great time here on Tuesday nights, and we had a bunch of folks here eating, and that's what we want. The vision of this show was to get our guys in front of people and get our coaches in front of people and put faces to those names, but also keep creating that family atmosphere and environment, and they keep having us, and we're fortunate to have a local place with Jackson Christian supporters running it.
And come out and try the Blake Beckham sandwich. They just call it the Beckham. They'll know what you're talking about. You'll love it. I'm looking forward to it. I want to see you. I want you to hear us and see us, not just on the stream, but at the field Friday night. Be there. Jackson Christian, USJ. And we want to tell you that this is a copywritten broadcast of Worthy Road Studios. It's on the Jackson Christian School Facebook. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or further use of this contest without the express written consent of Worthy Road Studios is prohibited. For all of the coaches and the players that were here tonight, thanks for your time this time till next time. Good night, all.
The Ball Game Blitz Sports Network by Worthy Road Studios. With over 750,000 views in 2022, we are where you need to advertise. Please subscribe to our Worthy Road Studios YouTube channel and join the other 4,000 subscribers watching local sports.
The Jackson Rockabillys, Union and Bethel Universities, USJ, TCA, JCS, and Peabody.
Our multi-camera broadcasts include slow motion instant replay, on-screen scoreboard and graphics, and professional announcers.
Thanks to the sponsors who make it all possible. Ball Game Blitz Sports Network by Worthy Road Studios, the premier sports broadcast network in West Tennessee.